his speech too, but it was a different kind of a shift. It was shiftless. Hey, there's the kind of snappy comedy you can come out and see me do, but it was. This could all go horribly wrong at any minute. Hello there, and welcome to the 186th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled Back on the Yellow Brick Road. That's right, the final tour has begun again, taking up from where it left off in, May, really, and we're rolling along now. We began in Cleveland, that's right, at Hilarities this past weekend, and we did 4 shows. I did four. I know that seems like it's not a lot, but for me, I'm yelling, I'm shouting, I'm putting out a ton of energy more than I should be at times because I don't have any kind of a damper. And this was just, the audiences were phenomenal, and I'm serious. The energy they brought to the room was crazy, and it was really great. And I couldn't have been happier. And with them and what it brought out in me, and I am finally hitting my stride. I think since I started up on the final tour, I've been kind of looking for how do I stop explaining really what it is I'm trying to say and just fucking do it. And it happens every time I have to work on a new act, and I think I finally found it. And enough is enough. And I think just being able to do these final shows means so much that it was just like, okay, fuck it, Lewis, do it. But I have to say that the audience was a huge help there, and working at really great space like that which is like a nice small theater. It was really special. I can't thank the folks there enough. Nick, who's the owner, has done a great job there, and it was just a pleasure to be working that space. And I'm exhausted, and so every time you're going, gee, what happened? What's he doing? Why is he seems to be fading out? It's because I don't do that many shows, and I'm recovering, and I have to head out again. But we're on the road again, and we're going to be going through. I'm going to be going through. I don't know, the royal we. I'm going to be going through at least late March, early April. And I didn't expect to be doing this that long. Okay, I didn't expect the final tour to go on that long, but. There was some places I wanted to play, and I couldn't really get 2 of them until late in March, and I'm thrilled that I did. And so I'm just gonna, I'm gonna plug in some new dates because there's some other places I'd like to get to, and we'll wrap things up then at the. And so you want to keep an eye out for that. I certainly do, so I'll know where the fuck I'm going. So it was really Cleveland has really a great restaurant that I went to. I was not there the last time I was there, called Cordelia. And I'm just going to say, if you're there, go there, go there, go there. Vincent Cimino is the chef, and he's remarkable. He works with all of the, he does the local thing with the farmers and all of the folks who are in and around Cleveland who provide him with the ingredients that he puts together spectacularly. They call them, many of them, some might even say it's a fine dining. It's a great dining restaurant. I mean, just great. And the staff there could not be more helpful, and a joy to be around. The whole experience there it's not just about the food, it's about all of it. And I couldn't have enjoyed myself more, and it was really great to be able to talk to him and what he's doing there, and how he put the restaurant together. So go, I'm telling you, go. And if you're also there, go to Hilarities. Chances are it's going to be a really good comic because Nick doesn't fuck around when it comes to who he books. He's dedicated to really trying to put the best acts that he can on stage, and he's got a really good restaurant. I mean, a really good one, and some terrific wines. His daughter Dina is, as far as I'm concerned, an exceptional sommelier, and and this is what I'm going to be talking about. Partly, this is what I wanted to talk about, and I know it's a what really? Yeah, I'm telling you this. These are great tips, and it made for really a great Friday and a Saturday. Just had a terrific time, and I probably gained 5 pounds, and worth it all. He has a prime rib at Hilarities, and he nails it. The chef there nails it, and if I had his name, I would pass it on to you. It was just terrific. Um, and that's why I went to the title Back on the Yellow Brick Road. I hate coming up with these titles, and usually it takes a while. It takes as long sometimes for me to figure out what the fuck the title's going to be as it is to do the whole fucking Rantcast, and that drives me nuts because being someone who likes to write, I like to come up with something that really nails it. And the closest I've come is Back on the Yellow Brick Road. I thought about head count because that's really what it's about in some ways. You go back, you're doing shows, and you want the the place that you're performing at. You want to fill the seats so that they make their money and that you can make your money and you can spread it around to those who work with you. And so I call head count really in part came also from the fact that Donald Trump said that he had more people at his January 6th his speech than Martin Luther King had at his march, and I'm sorry, that's not possible. It's just not possible. It's not possible. And how do I know this? Because I was there, and it was the most. I lived around Washington as a kid. I went to that speech. I was there, and you turned around and you saw people literally standing from the Lincoln Memorial all the way down to Congress, and that is not what Donald Trump had. Not at all. Mm-mm. Pictures prove that, but also nobody, I don't think, since has had the crowd that Martin Luther King had. And why would you compare yourself, your ability to draw an audience, to Martin Luther King's ability to draw an audience at really one of the most historic moments in time, when there was a shift going on in the United States, finally, in terms of the basically dealing with the rights of people in this country. You know, a shift, and there was a shift, of course, with Donald Trump's, his speech too, but it was a different kind of a shift. It was shiftless. Hey, there's the kind of snappy comedy you can come out and see me do, but it was. It's what Martin Luther King's moment in time there was really epic. I mean, epic. And I just think that's the kind of stuff that I'm just tired of it. You don't get to. I'm sorry, you don't get to say that. There has to be, as soon as he said it, there has to be a horn going ooga ooga that drowns it out, because enough is fucking enough. Okay. And J.D. Vance talking about this is all insane. J.D. Vance is discussing his he feels he is being interviewed. He had at one point in time said that those adults with children should have more votes and really more to say about how we're governed than those of us like myself who don't have children, and that is insane. It's insane. It's insane. Okay? And I'm sorry, it is. I mean it. I mean, I'm not discussing this stuff with people, right? There's nothing to be discussed. Okay? You call yourself I'm a constitutionalist, and then you want to rip it up and put that kind of nonsense in, right? You don't get to do it. He called it a thought experiment. What the fuck I mean, I've got to hand it to him, his creativity, but it was you can't. Was he experimenting with thought? It's called an idea. Here's an idea I have, and I'm just going to throw it out there, as opposed to I'm experimenting with a thought. Nobody, I, I won't even continue. Okay, if thought experiment makes sense to you, good, enjoy it and use it in your daily life. But it's once again, no, no such thing as a thought experiment. And if you do have a thought experiment, usually you think it and then you don't say it unless. And if you do say it, it's an idea. So there we go. And and that's really what's been going on. That's it. Meanwhile, you've got Kamabla is the. I'm sorry. I will continue to use that probably as just to kind of go, wow, to basically hopefully rid our system of that kind of unbelievable that someone running for the presidency of our country would call the person running against them, whose name he knows, refer to that person as Kamabla. I mean, and I repeat it just so that we can kind of, I hope, laugh at it and move the fuck on. Is Kamala and Walz, are they better? I don't know. It's certainly one of the things that helps them is, people don't really know him, but people do know, Donald Trump, and that does not help him at this point. Not at all. I will say, and I know you're not going to want to hear this, some of you, but when I was out there, I asked the audience in Cleveland, where he's from Ohio, J.D. Vance, and I said, what do you think about him? And the sound in the room was deafening. They don't like him. 4 audiences. Nobody went, well, yeah, no, I think he's, nope. And if they did, if anybody did in the room, you weren't going to hear it. Okay? And once I thought I heard somebody and I asked and they went, no. So I'm just telling you. And granted, it's Cleveland. Granted, it's blue. But still, I've played Ohio before. And I played Cleveland before. And, a while back, a number of years ago, you would hear, you'd get a blowback. They really, would have, so there would be some in the room who'd be adamant that they were for J.D. Vance, I think, and who was not there, who wasn't really there well, yeah, he was, but I didn't think to ask. And Donald Trump, there was, a presence in the audience, folks who had been my fans, and then afterwards would write me they were no longer my fans because of the problems I have with their candidate. And I don't like this. Like I've said it time and again, I do not like being put in this position. But enough's enough. Okay? I would like to hear what their ideas are, as opposed to them. They're searching for ways to attack the other side. Just tell us what it is. Talk about what their ideas are and why your ideas are better. That's the way we do this. Okay? It's not changed in any way, shape, or form since student government. So stop it. And let's move on. Okay? Because this will be a long 80 days or whatever it is that's left, which is still enough time. Still enough time for Kamala and, and the Governor Walz. Come on, Lewis. It's still time for them to fuck up, It's still time. It's still time for them to fuck up. So we'll see. We go to the Democratic Convention, and we'll see what happens there. And it'll be interesting. Maybe I'll have something else to talk about other than food, which is really the thing I love talking about as much as anything else. But they're not going to give me that show because it'll just be my face in a trough. It'll be called Where's Lewis? And you'll just hear me going. Few things to share with you before I go. What I'm about to read should have been in a book. It may have. I certainly wrote something not the same as this, but close. But this is really a step into a future that I never imagined, and the future is right now. Italian fashion house Dolce and Gabbana debuted Fefe, a designer fragrance just for dogs. Not a fragrance just for dogs, a designer fragrance just for dogs. All dogs? Huh? From what, a Dachshund to a Beagle? They should be wearing the same cologne as a Great Dane, German Shepherd? Huh? Or a Doberman Pinscher? God, an olfactory experience, Fefe is, with hints of musk, sandalwood, and lang lang. According to Dolce and Gabbana, listen to this, a 3.4 ounce bottle of Fefe retails for $109. Oh, man. So I guess if you want to fuck a dog, you put a little Fefe on. Huh? It's a dog. You can't be putting that on a dog. A dog's supposed to smell like a dog. It'll make a dog insane. It has to. Doesn't it? God. When I was writing a play way back, I had just gotten out of, graduated from UNC and had gotten a playwriting fellowship. And I'd written a play there with a group that I worked with there, a group of students down there, acting students and others at the university and friends. And I had friends who, out of the radio, television, motion picture department, and they shot commercials for me. That was part of the thing. We had a big TV screen that dominated the set. It was about growing up. From the time really from the time I was in the 50s and the 60s. So of course, I'm enjoying this now, but I had an ad for cologne called Dog Balls, and with a beautiful piece of work that was done by a friend of the container for the Dog Balls cologne. And I didn't even think of it to be for the Dog Balls cologne to be put on the Dog Balls. It was for men. This is even better. Fefe, $109. Wow, you got to have a lot of expense. You've got to have lost your mind. Even the cologne that I buy, it's not even in that ballpark. Son of a bitch. A dog must go nuts. I'd love to see that. I can't wait for the ads. I hope there's an ad. And then also, and I leave you with this, is that Charles Middle School in El Paso, Texas, has banned students from wearing all black outfits. In a letter to parents, Principal Nick DeSantis explained that dressing in black from head to toe has been associated with depression and mental health issues and/or criminality. And a parent, Alexis Contreras, says she appreciates the school's intentions, but making students wear a different color is going to magically make them a completely different person. Yep. Boy, is that ever true. They'll be wearing fuchsia and they'll be really pissed. And that way they might just, who knows? But really, kids wearing black, you let them wear whatever the fuck they want to wear. Okay? All right? This isn't rebel without a cause, you fucking idiot. Son of a bitch, especially now, when children need to express themselves in any fashion they fucking want. All right? Look, I wore all black yesterday. And I was not depressed. Unusually, I wasn't. It's unusual, but I wasn't depressed. Now, to follow up the insanity of last week's boneless wings controversy, I would like to read the following. After Ohio's Supreme Court ruled that boneless wings may contain bones, a state lawmaker says he's writing legislation that will force courts to follow a common sense test. Senator Bill DeMora says no court using the test would rule that something that says boneless could have a bone in it. Asked how his bill will define common sense, DeMora invited reporters to imagine a scenario in which common sense dictated something. Thank you. Thank you, Senator DeMora, for taking time out of your day in a busy schedule, no doubt, with the problems that Ohio faces, to just say, stop being stupid. Unbelievable. That's a court. Huh? Wow. Well, they should have made him eat a full boneless wing with a bone in it. And then as they were choking, they might have made the right decision. And that's what I got. That's what I got this week. I wish, I'm kind of glad that, I'm more than glad, I'm thrilled to be back on the road. And I look forward to seeing you get down the road. And I want to thank you all for, I've got some great rants coming up. I want to thank the folks in Cleveland and the folks who've written in from Vegas, where I'm going, for their rants. I'm sorry I couldn't read them in Cleveland. I really was so focused on learning my act again that it was tough to read them. So I will hopefully get to read a few of them during either this Rantcast or the next. Stay tuned because they'll be on it. All righty. Thanks for all you give to me. It's a privilege and a pleasure, really, to be able to do this. And it makes me crazy. But in the end, I love it. And I hope you do, because I sit here and I get a lot off my chest, and it helps me get through the week. But I'm really, really looking forward to just being out there with you guys and letting it rip. Got a phone call. Better get to it. Shut up! Rant from a veteran's child. Hello, Lewis. Listening to Rantcast 181 and the rant from Greg Douglas hits home with me a little bit. My father, who served in the Navy for 11 years, developed diabetes while enlisted. He was basically medically discharged after that. Over the course of time, he developed bladder cancer, which thankfully has gone away, and spots on his lung, which turned out to be nothing. Well, now he will begin treatments for prostate cancer, and at the same time he has Parkinson's. In November of 2023, the VA declared him 100% disabled because of all the stated ailments, along with depression and nerve damage in both legs. Literally 3 days later, he got a letter stating he was now only declared, this is unbelievable, it's beyond belief, 90% disabled. For him, this was a $1,500 reduction per month in income. In December, just in time for Christmas, and after a petition, the VA once again sent a letter stating he is now 100% disabled, but they could reduce his rate at a later time if a review is warranted. May reduce at a later time. This man is 70 years old. How in the hell is he going to get better? Two of his problems are never going away. So with all that said, I can wholly agree with Greg that this country at times does not love our veterans back equally. We have two parties that say they care about our veterans, but do they? If they did, they wouldn't allow shit like this to happen. Denying treatments, giving runarounds, and telling someone who's developed serious health problems and is not getting younger that they may reduce your monthly benefit if warranted. I thank all veterans for their service. Because of them, we get to live in a country where the shit that is going on now is allowed. Have a good one, Lewis, and thank you for reading Greg's rant and all the rants, and thank you for sending in that rant, because I must have had there untold numbers of rants from veterans, and Greg is the one that I just thought this has got to be dealt with, and I really appreciate you backing up what I said. There's no reason for this, none whatsoever, so that we can make sure that people have 6 homes in a variety of parts of the country, that we have no sense of how to tax anyone. Okay? Really. Who comes first? Who comes first? Thank you for sending that in. This comes to us from Christopher Johnson. He sent it to me, wanted to give me some ammo for my show in Vegas. Upcoming soon. Shamelessly plugging the August and 16th and 17th, where I will be appearing at the Venetian. There's still tickets. Join me out there. Christopher goes on to say, if for some reason you don't regain your sanity in the next few months and don't cancel, it's mid-June and we've already broke 110 degrees. I pray you don't, because we need a distraction that involves air conditioning. Here's a few tidbits from our local news to make amusing, if you can. We solved the labor shortage problem here in Nevada. Need workers for the hospitality industry? Problem solved. Just flush your education system down the toilet, then hire, fire, and rehire incompetents to run it. I bet you didn't know we're also known as the empathy state. At least if you've got fur on your nuts. Every other week, there's a horrific case of animal abuse that turns the natives into rabid dogs. The latest, and obviously mentally ill, elderly 70s couple gets arrested for animal hoarding and is initially denied bail and house arrest. Yet ex-raider Henry Ruggs kills the dog and its owner while driving intoxicated and fast enough to qualify for an F1 race. Don't get me started on that clusterfuck. He gets bail, house arrest, and now gets to do his prison job at the governor's mansion, who happens to be our ex-sheriff. What the fuck? Let's not forget the TikTok video of homeless kid freeing pigeons from their traps. Sticking up for the rights of a fucking nuisance bird? That should help prevent a TikTok ban. But at least we're getting a baseball team, even if it's the fucking A's, but could be worse. Do I really need to say it? Looking forward to August 17th. See you then. I'll see you then, Christopher. I'm looking forward to the 180 degrees it'll be. Oh, boy. I'm sure records will be set. Records will be set. Okay. I'd like to remind folks that please do all that you can to try to edit them. I don't enjoy editing folks' rants, and I've got one here from Jim. It's wonderful, but it's just too long to read. It really is. And I'll keep this brief. You said, I'm sorry I couldn't read it. It's good. It's about the area of the country where Butler and around Butler and near Pittsburgh that folks where the assassination attempt took place, and it's got some wonderful stuff in it. And Jim, if you could just edit that down, that would be great. I really mean that. I don't want to be the editor. I don't enjoy that. Except from time to time, it's obvious because folks we'll get to one today. Folks will say, start to talk about one thing and then they go, but what I really want to rant about is, and so they're getting in 2 rants and I can cut one. So thank you Thank you, Jim. Thank you though for that. I loved reading it, and I hope you'll give it a once over and send it back in soon. I'd like to thank Michael Timmons for sending this off and showing the kind of confusion I think that all Americans showed really in the face of the news over this. If a famous person finds a dead bear in the roadway, is it proper to throw it into your car to skin later? Even if you're on your way to New York City to have steaks and then are flying across country right after? Following up, okay? Having realized at some point in the evening, perhaps by epiphany, that there would be no time after dinner, but right before the flight, to skin and butcher the bear cub, would the natural response be to dump it in Central Park and stage a bicycle accident to make it look like that was the cause of death? I'm sorry about the incomplete scenario, but when I overheard this tale, I guess I didn't get a full accounting. Just wondering, what can the real story be here? Could anything make it? And I know this is a well-used word these days, but weirder? Maybe if the young bear had a tag on it, identifying the bear's name as Nikita Khrushchev. Wow, that's a throwback. But it was 10 years ago. That's what's also unbelievable, Michael. And I want to thank you for that and the joy your confusion gave me, because I think we all got it. And it really is an unbelievable moment in time. He's running to be the president of the United States. The breath stops before a word can be formed. Thanks for forming a few words for us, Michael. Gus Philly, I guess this must mean Gus is from Philly. That's what I'm going to take. But maybe that's his last name. But thank you, Gus. How about the smear job on plain old bullshit? If you were the shit and or the regular everyday bull, you are being compared to everything, from Trump to religion to corporate greed. You name it, and you're being compared to it. It's not fair, and bullshit is getting a royal deal. It's bullshit. See what I mean? Gus, I'm glad that you took a moment out of your day to worry about the word bullshit. And wow, thank you. This is Nick Norsten. It's a little long, but it really is an incredible response to customer service on a level that seems to be from the third rung of hell. So I thought many of you would enjoy experiencing this with Nick. Thank you, Nick. Something so stupid happened to me recently, I couldn't fucking believe it. I needed a new strap for my Timex watch because the one I have is old and wearing out. The watch itself was fine. I only needed a new band, but I couldn't find one anywhere that matched the one I have. Finally, I went to the Timex website and found just what I needed for about $25. About a week and a half go by and my package arrives. I open it up only to find it's empty. Well, not totally empty. My receipt was in there, as well as some of that brown packing paper they use, but that's it. Some dumb shit at the warehouse boxed up my receipt with packing paper and sent it to me without my fucking watch band. So I called the Timex customer service and I speak to this guy named Pierre with some kind of jacked up French accent who is clearly reading from a prepared script and calling me sir every other sentence. He says I can file a claim with the carrier, which is just the United States Postal Service. And then I have to fill out some complicated legal form and send it back to them, signed, and with a photo ID that also has my signature on it. What the fuck? I tell them that's stupid. Can't they just send me a replacement? Well, apparently not. There are steps to be followed, sir. So I fill out their form and email it back. Pierre gets back to me and asks if I filed a claim with the carrier, since that will be the next step. No, I didn't. Why would I do that? I received my package, and it was intact and undamaged. It's not the post office's fault. Your warehouse guy is a fucking moron. I tell him as much, a bit more politely, and he responds that yes, he understands my point, sir. And could I also fill out the form and send it again because my signature doesn't match my ID exactly? Well, no shit. It's a signature. Changes a little each time I sign it because I'm not a fucking machine programmed for rote repetition. And then I signed for my ID. And when I signed for my ID 10 years ago, it was on an electronic pad with a stylus that produced a slightly different result than when I signed their fucking paper form with a pen. What do they want me to do? Cut and paste my signature from my ID so they can just send it back again and say it's too exact? I tell them as much, slightly less politely, and ask, can you please just process my claim because this is getting absurd. 3 days go by. Finally, I receive another email from our little French friend. He understands my frustration, sir, but the finance department won't authorize a refund unless my signature matches exactly. Not wanting this shit show to continue, I try my best to recreate my 10-year-old stylist on-screen looking signature and send it off to await the next ridiculous hoop I need to jump through. 3 more days go by before he emails me to tell me he has nothing to tell me except our request has not yet been granted. Please allow more time, sir. Helpful. Over the next 2 weeks, he sends me the same message 3 more times. What is happening? Does Timex really need to spend all their company resources to determine I'm not some kind of a con man trying to rip them off for a fucking $25 watch strap? Finally, after 3 goddamn weeks, I get a message saying a refund has been issued. Please allow up to 10 working days for the transfer. 10 days? So after all is said and done, I just spent more than a month dealing with these assholes to end up right back where I started. Still needing a new watch band. Fuck my life. The cherry on top? I get another email asking me to rate how satisfied I am with Pierre's service performance. Oh, I tell them how satisfied I am, all right. Right after I trash this watch and buy a new one from one of their leading competitors. Or maybe I'll just put the old one in a box and mail it right to Pierre along with a receipt that says, fuck you, sir. P.S. If this was too long, feel free to edit it down. No, it was too perfect. It was too many things that needed to be. What are you going to cut it down to? Just perfect, Nick. Thank you. And I'm sorry for this. I mean, I get it. I'm amazed you kept going over a month, but I get it. It's a rabbit hole that you just kind of go, nope, you're not going to get away with this. You people are crazy. Also, interesting that it's you're talking to someone with a French accent because it is like a short play from the Theater of Absurd, which really came out of France. And one of the leading exponents of that was a Frenchman, Ionesco. And there's your theater lesson for the day, and allows me to use it, that part of my education, which I never get to share. So thank you, Nick, for that. And thanks for this lovely essay on customer service. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me, Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly.